Carl Sagan could not have predicted 2021, but he did see it coming. He wrote the following back in 1995, and we quote, "I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content and the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance." Roll that around for a while. Those were among his final published words. He died 10 months later. Here we are 25 years later, realizing just what he was trying to tell us back then.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Even as these grainy satellite images released today by the Chinese government.
Again, the Malaysia flight too was one shot at China saying knock it off.
Why shoot it down though if it's not hostile?
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Why the Americans would?
They leave distance annihilated.
This country is very powerful. Far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world. Not even close.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should be his duty. And to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
The Americans would. Chat, welcome to the greatest live stream on planet Earth. We are trendsetters, chat. We are trendsetters. We are the lower class fighting back. I am Robin Hood, and you are my merry men of thieves, stealing back science and technology from the CIA and the United States government. And the best part is we have them caught in a catch-22. If you are just now watching this live stream for the first time, you're going to hear the most amazing shit you've ever heard in your entire life. And the most amazing part about it is that it's all true. The United States is responsible for the missing airliner MH370, disappeared on March 8th, 2014. They aren't just responsible for it. They used a super weapon on it. It was some kind of espionage between China and Russia, scientists, whatever. The most important part is orbs. Orbs. 4 orbs to be specific. And not just that, they teleported it. Teleported it with some orbs. And I'm here to tell you that this means they've got technology far beyond what they're pretending they have. And the worst part is the people that have been tasked to give us disclosure, the crash retrievals and the aliens, the space aliens, ooh, scary. Those are the people that must be hiding this. This is the part, this is the reason why I'm not on mainstream TV. Why you don't see me in an interview with the congressman. Because I'm not that kind of person. That's not what the way that I work, the way that I operate, what we're revealing goes far beyond what people are comfortable talking about. And it reveals the deeper truth that they're hiding. It reveals the secret. So we're going to talk about Hal Puthoff tonight. Now, before that, time to set another trend. Chat, how many trends have we set? I can't wait for the Ethernet. Is it blurry? Sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. That's me. Okay, we're back. It's got to be a StreamYard thing. I don't know why. First question. Are we getting David Froning videos tonight? Probably not. I know I did promise it. I did. But the things happen that I said, if they happen, we've got to review them. Number one, Lue Elizondo responded to Ross Coulthart. We're going to watch that in just a minute. And then number two, Hal Puthoff did an interview, and we need to dig through the Hal Puthoff interview. I don't know why the video does that all the time. It has to be a StreamYard thing. I'll try to figure out why. Guys, there's a new trend on the block, a new hip viral trend in the hood. The Kool-Aid pineapples are out. Some guy got shot and is dangerous now, and we're not doing Kool-Aid pineapples anymore. It's a white boy summer, and us white boy summers, we don't mess around with those Kool-Aid pineapples. It gives you diabetes. So I'm here to tell you, chat, where's my spoon? I got something even better. It's called red grapefruit. No sugar added. The best part about it, you don't have to add anything to it. In fact, you can pour out this liquid because this is just more sugar in there. Just drink water. Let me taste some of this. Dabita. Dabiga, bro. Dabiga. Oh, guys, if the grapefruits, the delicious grapefruits, are sold out at the Walmart tomorrow, I swear to God, I'm done streaming. No more streams. No more free energy. If you guys sell out the grapefruits, that's it. We're done. It's all over. End of disclosure. Maybe I shouldn't even put them on the stream. So delicious. The worst part about grapefruit is having to undo it, cut it, and all that. Problem solved. Worst aftertaste? No, you mean best aftertaste. You're confused. Okay, guys, we better just move on because I can already see we might be starting like a world war here amongst the populace, amongst our following. Let's get into the content. We got to expose some people here. One thing I thought was interesting before we dig into that is time travel. Everybody asked me about time travel and they want to know, can we go back in time? Sabine Hassenfelder made a video today about retrocausality from a new scientific paper that claims we can. And it actually is consistent with what John Kramer was saying in his conference. A few weeks back, you can use AI to find the clip. We reviewed one of John Kramer's wormhole conference or press presentation. And the question at the end, they talk about we can't have overlapping wormholes. If we have overlapping wormholes, the wormholes are going to explode because they would allow you to cheat time and go back in time from before you started. Makes sense. But the reason why I'm bringing this up in the context of this new scientific paper is this. There was a side note was that you might be able to go back in time, but you can only go back in time into the point in which the first wormhole was created. In fact, does Eric Davis say that in this clip? He might. So if you think about that, that does kind of make sense. You might say if you need a sender and a receiver, then you can only do retrocausality when you first figure out that retrocausality is possible and you build a time machine to receive signals from the future. And then the people in the future start sending you information from the future to the past. That actually is the only way that it makes sense in my mind for it to be possible. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but currently that's my understanding. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, the reason why we're going so hard on these UFO people is A, they're hiding free energy, and B, they're still hiding free energy. Nobody wants this stuff to come out. Let's be clear. No one wants free energy to come out except for me and except for all of you. We're the people that want free energy to come out. All those people want to hide it for national security, whatever other reasons. This UAP Luring Council, I'm pretty sure that it's his official name. It's named after the Minnesota scam place because it's the same thing. It's not going to accomplish anything. If that's where your hope is, just give up now. It's all over. Give up now. It's all over. The reason being is simple. They're looking for more data. They want to analyze and try to figure out what this UFO thing is. You have to be completely brain dead. Completely brain dead. No conscience whatsoever, no consciousness whatsoever. If you believe that the United States government doesn't know exactly what the UFOs are, if they don't know how the UFOs fly, how they get around, the moment there's a UFO flying around in the sky in American airspace and we don't know what it is and we don't recognize that technology, you better believe they would have put the highest priority into figuring out what it is and how it works. And they did, like a long, long ass time ago. A long time ago. And they've been lying about it ever since. This is the main rub of all of this. How dare you come to me with your hand out about, we're sorry. Oh, we're so sorry. We'll tell you about the aliens we've been hiding for 40, 50 years. Shove your aliens back straight up your candy ass and go ahead and start telling me about your teleportation technologies. I'm staring at a Boeing 777 getting teleported out of the sky that I watched on CNN for months. About CNN, maybe tomorrow we'll find the plane. And then 5 searches in the ocean, 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, at least 5 that we know about. Searches in the ocean that also find nothing. Stop gaslighting me about the videos are video games. The videos of that missing plane and the military zapping it, they're video games. Somebody hoaxed it. Stop gaslighting me. Stop gaslighting me about we don't know where the plane went. It could be anywhere. Just tell the truth. Holy shit. Just tell the truth. What are we doing here? You guys are making me do this to you. Lue Elizondo, Hal Puthoff, even Ross Coulthart, who's now like, I guess having a change of heart or something. What's going on with Ross Coulthart all of a sudden? He's just stabbing Lue in the back now. He's like, okay, I'm sick of lying for them. I'm going to start telling the truth. Ross Coulthart, Deep State Ross. Jesus. Okay, let's get to it. Here's a clip. First of all, before we get to that, this shit is just the funniest clip ever. I got to play this. I feel bad for this poor guy that we're just destroying. But then I just kind of don't as well. Because they had appointed him to the UAP Luring Council. This is our hope. This is our great white hope, chat. Here we go. We're going to figure out those UFOs. Here we go.
I'd like to take this one since I have a TED Talk on it, which I'm very proud to say has probably as much views as people much more famous than me.
Holy shit. Are you kidding me right now? Excuse me, I'd like to take this here question because I have a TED Talk that I did, and yeah, it's got a lot of views on it. It's a misfit cast of losers who have no chance of ever understanding this stuff. And Eric Davis is about to literally rip this man's soul directly from his body.
Rich Hoffman, can I interject here? This is Eric Davis.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. Matt, that was good, but most of what you said was technically incorrect. Backward time travel is possible. However, you're limited only in going backwards in time to the point at which you turn the time machine on. Secondly, exotic matter is already created in the laboratory. It's called Casimir vacuum energy. And we also have proof from Matt Visor's paper that he demonstrated that the present day values of the cosmological parameters can only be possible if there is exotic matter somewhere in the universe.
Boom! Gotcha, bitch. Oh my God, chat. Oh my God. The clip came out even better than I could have ever possibly imagined. Possibly my favorite clip on the internet. I don't know how many views that has, but if it has less than 1 million views, it has way too few. That was just brutal. That is, and honestly, not even just a shot to that guy, but a shot to every Redditor out there. Actually, you know what? I'm the expert on this thing here. I just became the expert. Don't you know about my experience? And then, holy shit, Black Project engineer Eric Davis comes out. That shows this Mike Tyson. That's Mike Tyson coming out and just 6 seconds into the fight. Good night. Knocked him out. Holy shit, you're done. Shows why he's the GOAT. And this is why I have to point out, he is Hal Puthoff's right-hand man. Since we're stating just like really obvious things for our slow friends in the UFO community, they're very slow. They're catching on, guys, slowly. Eric Davis, Hal Puthoff hired Eric Davis because he's the world's leading expert on wormholes. You get it? That's pretty weird. Oh, and now we're watching a plane get teleported out of the sky by some spinning plasma balls. And we're listening to a literal encyclopedia of every wormhole paper that's ever existed. And the man can explain not only how negative energy works, but how we're producing it in the lab. In the lab, while you're listening to the Avi Loebs of the world go, we don't know that. How do these UFOs fly? It's so quirky. Cutting Eric Davis off while he's explaining negative energy, going, yeah, but that's just made up. That's just imaginary. That's Harry Potter magic. Stop that. Stop thinking about that. Dude. Okay. Oh. First clip. The response. Man, UFO community, a lot of drama, and I am enjoying it. Actually, before the response, it'd probably be better to play these in the opposite order, but hold on. Maybe we should. No, let's play them in this order.
Of it was that
Matt Ford. Shout out to Matt Ford. Chat, I liked Matt Ford. I always liked him. He's kind of nerdy, kind of dorky. This is exactly what I want in my UFO anchorman. Prototypical. Boom. He don't like me because he's a lib. And I try to be nice to him. I think I introduced myself to him. I like him. And I think he wants to do the right thing. He's just got too much of that COVID brainwashing still working around there to realize, like, oh, shit, all these dudes I'm interviewing, they're the ones hiding all this shit. So here we go. Watch this, though. This is good.
So my understanding of it was that it was in ATIP in certain aspects of it were to essentially, you had factions within the legacy program, factions that felt, we need to let some of this out. And part of one of the elements of ATIP was to sort of peel away some of the layers of the onion, but this was done in coordination with the Obama administration. This was part of a something that came out of the National Security Council.
Bro. Okay, guys, you guys need to be waking the fuck up here. These UFO people, they don't even know what the fuck they found. These people don't even know what they found, chat. We can basically lay out the framework of several special access programs. The OSAP ATIP, these were real programs. These people were running these programs, and they admit they were working on alien physics, alien technology. Do you want to know another one of the programs? Kona Blue was one of the follow-up programs. We can just go like boom, 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 and we've got multiple UFO programs. And now the question would be, if they have this secret technology, is there another secret group of UFO researchers and physicists out there that we don't know about? No, it's these exact guys. These are the ones. They must have just worked on other unacknowledged special access programs, and those ones were to make this shit. And those are not talked about. It's like, not only, because that's the most logical thing. First thing you do is, hey, how do those UFOs work? Okay, we figured that out. Let's go build it. That's what you do. Let's go build it now, the UFO technology. So that's why this is important, because these people have found straight up diamonds, and they're thinking that it's just coal. They're throwing the diamonds out. They're thinking they're just useless rocks. And I'm going, dude, whoa, pick those back up. Pick those DIRDs back up, chat. We want those Defense Intelligence Reference documents, chat. Where are my Bibles? Yo, give me some more scientific papers. What are we doing here? There's no aliens in these. These people, they hate them because there's no aliens in these papers. But the papers have all the answers to the questions.
And in particular, James Clapper.
Okay. And Obama was trying to reveal this. This is the big thing. They told on themselves. Pay attention. Classes in session. These motherfuckers told on themselves. They were like, we've been hiding this so long. We want to let some of it out. And they've been so successful brainwashing people, hiding it. They're like, okay, here you go. You can have know about the aliens. Like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? They admit it. Because why else would you be like, hey, time to reveal some of this? I mean, if you're worried people are going to catch up, you're never going to reveal any of it. The reality is we won. United States controls the planet. How do I know that? How do I know the United States has doomsday? We have a bomb that can destroy the whole planet. Nobody can stop us. Because when we went to Iran, Russia and China didn't do anything. If they had the 0-point energy technology, teleportation technology, Russia and China would have stepped in. But they don't. So they're cooked. We already built the bomb that can blow up the whole planet. That's why we control the planet. Okay. Oh, and James fucking Clapper in the National Security Council. These are the people that know about MH370. Exactly these people. Why are people not listening to what I'm saying? Obama's National Security Council. They were the ones that would have had to known about the operation. That's exactly where it goes. Ask AI. Oh, we did it. If we ran an operation on MH370, who would have gone up to? Probably Joint Special Operations Command and Obama's National Security Council. This is also the one that is revealing the UFO technology and running the programs. I mean, there it is. That's it. You're going to have Dylan Borland go, Ashton's just accidentally figuring this out. Dude, no. That's why those videos are real, because they lay out everything they're hiding. That we can now put all the puzzle pieces together in terms of the history, except for the ancient history of where it comes from, which I just don't care about. Sure, we got it from aliens, whatever. I don't give a crap.
So can you speak to that? And again, were you ever or are you part of the Legacy program?
Well, I worked with Jim Clapper.
What the actual fuck? Matt Ford just asks him straight up if he's in the Legacy program. His first response is, well, I worked with James Clapper. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. If Lue Elizondo gets appointed some UAP czar, I'm just marching on Washington. I'm quitting my job. We're marching on Washington. Hunger strike. I don't even know. We'll come up with something.
Actually, I worked for Jim Clapper, as a lot of people know, when he was Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, after he was the director there at DIA, but before he was the Director of National Intelligence. And I can't speak for Jim. He would have to answer that too. But what I'll tell you, at least when he was, when I spoke to him, he was very happy and that we had a UAP.
Bro, let me just pause here for a second. We're like 40 seconds into his response. I don't even remember what the fucking question was. This is how you know he's a trained operative. The question was, are you in the legacy program? And for the last 30 seconds, you've been talking about James Clapper and when you knew James. What are you talking about, dude? Is this like some Freudian shit going on here where like James Clapper was running it and now you got to talk James Clapper? Like, and I need you guys to see through this. When you watch me and you see me unfiltered like this is how a normal human being talks, who's not really afraid of being exposed for my secrets. You're going to find out my secret delicious love for grapefruits, chat. This is how people talk when they're hiding shit. Why are we going to these people for the truth when they're just literally hiding stuff openly?
Program in the department. Now that doesn't mean anything. If you ask him now, he may be think otherwise, but that's certainly up to former Director Clapper to opine about. As far as where this comes from Obama, I never sat with Obama specifically about this topic or this any other topic. My entree point was through the National Security Council for the programs that I was running in the special access world.
What? Okay, burn this witch, chat. Burn this witch at the stake. Normally I'm against Salem witch hunts, but we found a real witch here, chat. 100% sure. This is an exception. We found a real witch. We got the rare real witch here. He was working under Obama's National Security Council on special access programs. I mean, he's a counter intel guy. He's not a physicist. He's not an engineer. This is why, like, if you want to break an NPC's mind, you tell them, what was Lue Elizondo's job in the special access program? He was applying his counterintelligence skills to the UFO community. What was he doing? How is he applying his counterintelligence skills as part of the special access programs? I swear, if he comes out and admits that he was actually destroying people's lives, covering this up, like leading groups that were like, you know, lying on the internet and shit. Like one person, it's possible that Joseph Marinello, King Milkfart, it's possible that Lue Elizondo is literally his troll. That would be crazy if that ended up being true. And got his record expunged. If some craziness like that ends up being true, which is just speculation, pure speculation, then this dude needs to burn. This is this kind of stuff too, where like they convince themselves they're the good guys while they're just doing evil shit nonstop. And then they do this kind of stuff where it's just like a struggle session where it's like a pity party where they've done so much evil shit and their guilty conscience is so full that they're like, well, they want to tell you a little bit of truth. And then they want you to look at them like they're a good person. When in reality, you're just a complete monster, aren't you? You're just a complete monster, aren't you?
Unfortunately, I probably wouldn't be able to elaborate too much on how that relationship works. There is an established channel of communication that was between my office and that office. But much beyond that, I wouldn't be able to really provide any fidelity to. We especially not just with classified information, but special access programs. There's a huge sensitivity there. And especially when you're talking about SAPs in some cases, and by the way, I'm not saying this is one of them, if they're unacknowledged, right? That's even more sensitive. So, boy, I don't know how to answer that question. It's a good question.
So That's your answer to the question of are you in the legacy program? Is a long rant about James Clapper and then special access programs under Obama and the National Security Council, and then specifically a whole little side reference about unacknowledged special access programs. Okay, he was definitely in what the legacy program. They're just using as an umbrella term for this legacy program of UFO alien technology that has been passed down through the generations to where we're at now in 2026. Basically, boomers messed us up. Boomers messed up literally everything, and they messed up the alien technology, UFO technology, teleportation, whatever, Tesla technology, whatever your vibe is. Shout out to my boy, Woke Societies in the Pilled chat. I've been watching his content, a lot of crossover with our content. Hope you guys enjoy the show here tonight. Now, that was Lue Elizondo crying like a little baby. No, wait, this is the part where he cries like a little baby. So the follow-up, Ross Coulthart called him out. And the reason why it's significant is not that it's a new revelation. Everybody was already suspecting that Lue Elizondo is, deep in this. Just, again, ask the basic question, what was Lue Elizondo doing for these special access programs? What was he doing for ATIP? What was he doing for Kona Blue if he was involved in it? He wasn't doing physics. Contrary to what he says, he's not a science guy. So here's his follow-up. And I want to point out something else. If someone accuses me of something, I don't have the luxury of going on mainstream television to respond. Hey, somebody said some shit about me. Can you put me on mainstream TV so I can go respond? Like, this is the most orchestrated crap you could ever imagine. Why? Because if I go on there, you're going to hear some stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And when you look into it, you're going to go, oh, wow, this might be real. Thank you for those cookies, guys. Appreciate you guys in the Pilled chat. You guys are popping off. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Lue Elizondo. Coulthart. Some say Lue was part of the cover-up. Yeah, of course he was. That look right there kind of says it all, doesn't it? Chris Como of all people, chat. Chris Como was not even buying Lue Elizondo's shtick here. Here we go.
Look, I think Ross is an excellent investigative journalist. Personally, I like him. I think he's done tremendous work for disclosure and where we are today in the conversation. I find it interesting that just weeks ago, according to some on social media, I had nothing to do with the UFO program or the Pentagon or ATIP. And now, apparently, I ran everything involving UFOs and the legacy program. So I don't know exactly where Ross is getting his information. I suspect he has sources. Really, that's...
What? That's the dirtiest response ever. You're like, what you do is, oh, he's a great journalist, but like you're presenting that like he's presenting some. He's a good. He just got this one wrong. He's a great journalist. Then he presents the lie too. The lie is, people were saying I wasn't even part of ATIP. Now they're saying I was leading the whole legacy program. No one was saying you leading the legacy program. What? Where's that even coming from? No one is saying that. But this is how you exaggerate it because it's true, right? He was part of this secret UFO cover-up program, and he was almost certainly disinformation for it because that's what his job is. But this is his response. He's like, oh, I'm sure Ross has sources. Yes, that's how sources work, man. You have them, and they tell you things. I'm sure he has sources. He doesn't even follow up to that. He just says, I'm sure he has sources, and then just rambles in a different direction.
Not really my concern. I've always had a lot of respect for Ross. For me, any chance I get to talk about disclosure and transparency, look, I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life being forthcoming with the American people about the reality of UAP.
Chat, I'm hearing a lot of words. There's a lot of words coming out of Lue Elizondo's mouth here. None of them are denials. None of them are denials. Look, I was a criminal for 20, 30 years. But I spent the last 10 years being a shill on TV. Doesn't that absolve me a little bit? I'm still lying right now. Still lying literally right now. But hey, I love talking about disclosure even when I get called out by Ross Coulthart. My goodness. Chat. This might be worse than 9/11. Might even be worse. Oh my goodness.
UFOs. In fact, one only has to look at my resignation memo for the record that I wrote to Secretary Mattis, James Mattis at the time. I've committed myself to transparency to the degree that I could. It is true that I have a security
that's the
clearance.
space. That's the space, Lou, right?
Chat. When Chris Como is calling you out mid-sentence, catching you out on your lie mid-sentence, just hang it up. Hang it up. You've been got, man. You've been made. They figured you out. Chris Como, of all people. This might be his first ever good take in the history of the world. Brutal chat.
Because up till that point, I think Ross would agree with everything you just said until right here. But you were in the legacy program. You've never really talked about it. Is that because you
just calls him out? Just calls him out. Says you were in the legacy program. You never really talked about it. Is that because you're fucking disinformation? Yes. Like, you guys, they want us to listen to them. They want us to give them amnesty and immunity. They're literally giving themselves awards. Literally. I'm working on it, chat. I'm working on it. First things first, start telling the truth. My goodness. Tell the truth. You were in some secret UFO program. Okay. Dude, if they kill you over that, you know what? It's probably, think about how good that would be for humanity. You get to be some weird martyr. Humanity gets to figure out that we got secret alien technology. Just be like, yeah, I was in a secret UFO program. Oh my God. I don't know why all the hand wringing over this. Oh, I signed a piece of paper. Okay, man. You know what? Like, if you're not willing to risk your life for this, I question your commitment to Sparkle Motion. I question your commitment to Sparkle Motion, Lue Elizondo. Chat, Donnie Darko reference.
Can't? And if you can't, do you think it's fair of Ross to say, well, then you still should?
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't say I was part of the legacy program. And let me make this clear too, Chris, and I'm sure you can appreciate this. When you work for the government and you have a security clearance, there's always these statements, we cannot confirm or deny. And people always take that as some sort of implicit yes. But the reality is that's not at all what that means. There are classified programs out there. And if someone were to ask me, Lou, were you part of, I don't know,
Bro, stop. Actually, stop. Stop the cap. I'm not even listening to any more of this. He's trying to Glomar the middle of an interview. Like, look, just because I can't deny it legally for legal reasons doesn't mean that it's true. Yes, it does, dude. If you're not in a secret alien reverse engineering program, you can just say you're not in a secret alien. You can be like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Because that's the truth. You're not in a secret alien program. You just say, I don't know. This is why Glomars are so significant. Yes, this is why it is significant. This is why when the spooks try to gaslight you and they be like, oh, just because we said we can't confirm or deny it doesn't mean that it's real. Yes, it does. If you don't have a Boeing 777 fire suppression bottle that washed up in the Maldives on March 25th, if you don't have anything about that, you just say you don't have anything about that. If you do, then the reason is because you fucking teleported an airplane and the evidence was crashing out and around it. It's black and white. There's not really shades of gray. So that's Lue Elizondo trying to deny that he was in this legacy program. Ultimately, whatever. Who cares? I care because they're lying. What I really care about, though, is science. Now, where do I have it? Here we go. So, tonight, we're going to take a look at this video. Thank you guys for the donos, by the way. I appreciate those. We're going to go through those at the end. God, hopefully there's not 1,000 of them. Hopefully there's not too many people supporting me. You know what? We're not even going to play the Avi Loeb parts because I'll just tell you what Avi Loeb said here. I'll just help you guys out. Blah, blah, blah. We need more sensors and more data, and I'm so happy this happened. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Great contributions, Avi. Let's get to Hal Puthoff. He's the one that we're here for. Okay, UAP Gerb. And you know what? I'm going to say more about him. I have a new updated opinion on UAP Gerb. I'll be honest with you guys, I hadn't really watched much of his stuff. I like him. I like him. Not for me. He's not a match for me, chat. I'm swiping whatever direction you swipe to go away from somebody. I actually don't even know because I don't do that stuff. I'm swiping the other direction. But you know what? He's a good match. Hold on, let me move this. He's a perfect match for Congressman Burlison. I want Congressman Burlison to swipe into UAP Gerb, chat. Why? Because he's the perfect representative for woke disclosure. Perfect representative. And I mean this in all the best ways. He's very well informed. He knows where the bodies are buried. He's articulate, and he knows how to ask a direct, pointed question. Look, chat, people say I'm a piece of shit. They say I'm an asshole, and they're not wrong. But I'm fair. I'm fair. I'm fair to Matt Ford. I'm fair to UAP Gerb. I don't mind if you're a libtard. We can still be friends. That's fine. It's them that don't want to talk to me, right? They bring up good points. I watch their content. I support their stuff. They're the ones that just have the haterade problem. Anyway, UAP Gerb, I want you to impress. I just straight up built Brasky to him. Now you better deliver here, UAP Gerb, for the people. Okay, here we go.
He says we haven't gotten like the smoking gun videos or evidence yet.
Right. So, of course, I'm on the Fresh Freedom podcast. I'm not just blowing smoke here. But I think the files and the videos pale in comparison to the disclosure efforts out of your office by yourself and David Grush. I think the legal interrogatives sent to the MITRE Corporation, MIT Lincoln Labs, cabinet-level agencies and services are far more effective in pursuit of disclosure. And as we've kind of...
Okay, UAP Gerb. Oh. You had my curiosity, and now you have my undivided attention. So let this man cook. You know what? I might not even agree with what he's doing. I don't even care. Just let the man cook here. Let's see what he can do. Certainly can't hurt our efforts.
I've seen of late, these interrogatives are likely leading to a domino effect of discovering other records, other materials within other private companies, semi-private companies. So I really admire the pursuit that you and Mr. Grush are doing. And I think if there's an avenue to disclosure, it is through these legal interrogatives. Especially with the file release, we're probably going to run into some trouble with Department of Energy held records. And I'd love to talk with you about that as well during this, Dr. Puthoff. But the fall of the dominoes with the legal interrogatives.
Hey, okay. I like him a little bit more. Yeah, okay.
Is something special, and I commend you for having the guts to go after the MITRE Corporation.
Thank you. I want to go ahead, go into detail about there's an aspect of the Department of Energy that we may have a difficult time getting information out of.
Oh, sure. So maybe we could talk about this, Dr. Puthoff. And I say this because today at the UAPDF event, you stated if you revealed everything you knew about the subject, you would go to jail. So I'm going to take that as a
damn. Okay. Yeah, this is my kind of stuff. This is what I like. We're firing on all cylinders. I'm already here in Department of Energy. This is already, I can tell this is scripted as shit. This is exactly what I want. Chat, you might be saying, Ashton, why are you listening to this goy slop? I keep telling you, this is the best shit. Are you guys going to make me play the clip? You're going to make me play the clip. Okay, hold on, chat. Look at this. This is your fault, chat. Is it this one?
Justice. You've come to the wrong place. I disagree.
I disagree.
I've come to the perfect place. I want to bring those who have wronged me to justice, and all those who have wronged me are right here.
Boom, chat. All those who have wronged me are right here. Chat, I hope Hal Puthoff is listening. Chat, why did you forsake me, Hal Puthoff? You were the chosen one. You were the one that I wanted to be my hero. You never reached out to me about the MH370 videos. You reached out to every other weirdo ass alien person and person who has a theory about 0-point energy. But Ashton Forbes, he gets nothing. He gets one-word response emails. He gets told, I don't know about fusion bombs. Why did you forsake me, Hal Puthoff? The Godfather, chat. He's cast me out. Will you say I am spiteful, I am vindictive? You better damn believe I am. The number one 0-point energy Godfather won't even look in my direction, won't even say my name. I'm nothing to him. I have all kinds of daddy issues. Okay, here we go. That's enough.
I mean, you may have worked in a specific national program capacity on such projects of exotic or technologies of unknown origin. So maybe we could spitball about this. Would you share the kind of same idea or a different idea that the Department of Energy would be a really good place to hide exotic materials, anomalous materials, because of the statutory authority that the Department of Energy is subject to, which is completely different than the standard executive order-based classification system that exists within the DoD?
Whoa. Slow down, homeboy. Hold up, bro. Your script is... I didn't know you were just going to be dropping truth nukes in the middle of your script here. It's like, oh, turns out Department of Energy has a completely different classification process, way more strict, not even like reviewable by FOIA. Okay. Whoa. So how much secret shit have we been hiding in the Department of Energy? Are we hiding some magic fusion orbs in the Department of Energy? Because I'm actually just wondering here, are these guys going to get to these orbs? Is that what this is going to lead to? Is they going to figure out that, oh, crap, we figured out fusion? It wouldn't surprise me if this is buried somewhere in the Department of Energy. Certainly makes sense when we're looking at plasma fusion orb particle accelerators that aren't supposed to exist. Seems like a good spot. Okay, let's see how the GOAT. Now, chat. If you're unfamiliar with my man Puthoff, you might say, oh, he's cooked. Normal people will be like, Puthoff is cooked here. He's going against UAP Gerb. Gerb's got his facts ready. He's already got his script ready to go with his questions. Do never underestimate the ZPE GOAT, chat. You can't corner him. There's no getting information out of him that you want. He's got packaged stories in his head already ready to go. He's not even listening to your question. He maybe heard like 2 of the words out of 10. He was already thinking in his mind, which story am I going to tell him in response to this, and ignore his question entirely. Here we go.
That's true. And since they have their own security system, which does not fall into the usual Pentagon and DoD security apparatus, that really has to be pursued separately. And I've seen some of your podcasts, so I'm actually glad to see that you're pursuing that option.
Yeah. So whether it's information,
praises him, talks him up, butters him up a little bit,
protected under broad and liberal interpretations of the 1954 Atomic Energy Agreement. Special nuclear material, transclassified foreign nuclear information, which comes later, restricted data, formerly restricted data. How do we crack into that?
Boy, that's tough.
Holy shit. Oh, I like this guy. Chat, he said the N-word. He said the N-word, chat. Cancel UAP Gerb right now. Actually, you know what? We're giving UAP Gerb the N-word pass. It's official. 4 orbs has given UAP Gerb the N-word pass. He can say nuclear as many times as he wants. Keep it rolling, sir.
Consider some of the things that we did in the ATIP program. I was a senior scientist, for Bigelow Aerospace on looking at what was happening out of the DIA-funded program. And so we interacted mostly with aerospace corporations. And so they had arranged to get access to materials and so on, which they handled under IRAD. Mm-hmm. So in fact, they were not accessible by FOIA. and therefore, that was a problem. So in that program, as we tried to dig out some of this stuff, that's when we saw that the compartmentalization and the stovepiping was just so far off the charts that you sort of weren't going to get anywhere with that. So in fact, one of the things that I was responsible for was that, okay, suppose we had gotten access to all of this pieces of material and so on that they had, what would we do with it? Well, we would try to declassify it to a level where we could send it out to scientists all over the world, the top people in whatever materials or, various forms of propulsion and so on.
Okay. The story we're being told here now. I told you he was going to tell us a story. He comes out and says, I was part of these programs and somehow we knew this stuff existed and we were trying to get crash pieces of UFOs is what this, he's not saying it explicitly. This is like Candace Owens not saying that she's implying Erica Kirk killed her husband. Not saying it directly. He's just saying we were trying to get materials and then we're going to give it to scientists and they're going to figure it out. Okay. So knowing what we know about a plane being teleported, I'm already not even believing the premise here. Why would you give it out to public? That makes no sense at all. Well, to figure it out. We can't figure it out. You already have the brightest minds. What are you talking about here?
But since we couldn't get access because of the compartmentalization, I mean, they tried hard because they were not making progress because they couldn't get access to any good scientists, which is, I'm so glad to see what Avi Loeb is doing now. And then
Chat, what? Avi Loeb, chat. That's what his new name is from now on. Avi Loeb. Hal Puthoff just lies straight to Avi Loeb's face. Says, we didn't have access to good scientists. We needed good scientists like Avi Loeb. We needed the guy that thought that the space rock was a super advanced alien mothership. That was what we were missing this whole time. That's what we needed. Avi Loeb, good job. So glad we got you on the team, Avi Loeb. You're going to figure out the UFOs. This guy is, I guarantee you, Avi is falling for this. Avi thinks that he has been preordained down. He probably thinks that the Heavenly Mother has came down and blessed him. He's going to be the one to reveal the alien technology. He doesn't realize he's just being used like an absolute fool right here. Unbelievable. Hal Puthoff, you monster. Hal Puthoff, you sick monster, dude. That's the guy hiding it, telling Avi Loeb, yeah, we needed you. Jesus Christ, chat. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I feel like I'm in an alternate fucking dimension right now. This can't be real life. I gotta listen to it again. I can't believe it's real. Let me say it again.
Declassify it to a level where we could send it out to scientists all over the world, the top people in whatever materials or, various forms of propulsion and so on. But since we couldn't get access because of the compartmentalization, I mean, they tried hard because they were not making progress because they couldn't get access to any good scientists, which is, I'm so glad to see what Avi Loeb is doing now, and that he has that opportunity. So anyway, I sat there and said to myself, okay, well, suppose I had gotten access, who would I send this materials to if we could get them downgraded? So we made up a list of people who are tops in their field.
Wait. Pause, chat. Monka S chat. Is he about to say what I think he's about to say right here? Okay, wait. He just said, so we went to the top people that we knew in their field, aka the Black Project engineers.
Anything that would have to do with,
well, here you go.
Because they couldn't get access to any good scientists, which is, I'm so glad to see what Avi Loeb is doing now, and that he has that opportunity. So anyway, I sat there and said to myself, okay, well, suppose I had gotten access, who would I send this materials to if we could get them downgraded? So we made up a list of people who are tops in their field for anything that would have to do with these exotic kinds of technologies. And so I just went to them. And actually, I commissioned, I think it was 36 papers from leading experts all over the world. asking them, saying, I was just doing a survey for Bigelow Aerospace. Where will your area of expertise be by the year 2050? I didn't tell them it had anything to do with, quote, ETs or UAPs or whatever. And so we got back some fantastic papers, and they were all put up on a classified website, JWIC's website. But by
Bro, that's the DIRDs, dude. That's the Defense Intelligence Reference Documents. Okay, here's the problem now. He's going, oh, well, we didn't have the scientists. So I went to all my people. We know those people. Spoiler alert, already hunted down all the authors. That was one of the first things I did. I'm starting reading these papers. It's like teleportation, wormholes, warp drives, extracting quantum energy, fusion propulsion, negative mass propulsion, EPRs, space-time teleportation, invisibility, metamaterials, gravity for communications. I've read well over a dozen of them. Well over a dozen of them. And they're thick, chat. Thicker than the thick whites, those papers. And I'm sitting here thinking, these are the best people. Who else would you ever go to? You're not going to Avi Loeb to tell you how to do a negative mass propulsion fusion reactor. What the fuck are you talking about right now? And this is why I'm convinced it has to be Hal Puthoff in the cover-up. He has to be in the legacy program. Not even an option for him to not be in the legacy program. How did he know all those authors? Those are all the people going on Stephen Greer in the early 2000s saying we're hiding free energy and 0-point energy. It's the authors of the DIRDs. Paul Sizz, go watch his interview on Stephen Greer. What the hell are we doing here? It's multiple authors of the dense plasma focus. George Miley, inertial electrostatic confined fusion. Okay, let's get the follow-up here. This is actually gets really good for the next little while.
now, most of those papers have been released through FOIA. So there's a lot of good data in there. And some of the cases, we got really great papers from people who we knew were involved in the legacy program anyway. So anyway, that was really quite a find.
Wait. Did you guys hear what I just heard? We got papers from people that were involved in the legacy program. Say it again for me, boss.
We're all put up on a classified website, JWIC's website. But by now, most of those papers have been released through FOIA. So there's a lot of good data in there. And some of the cases, we got really great papers from people who we knew were involved in the legacy program anyway. So anyway, that was really quite a find, a catch.
This is your podcast, sir, but I think this is a pretty monumental opportunity for some transparency and more information on this topic. So if you don't mind, I'd love to ask a few questions just about that.
Yeah, so we have you on here.
You're talking about the Kona Blue Department of Homeland Security perspective.
Okay. What the fuck, dude? That's not a follow-up to those questions. He just told you the authors were in the legacy. Which ones? George Miley? Is it George Miley, chat? Just Puthoff. Blink twice if it's George Miley. Blink twice if it's Paul Sizz's fusion reactor aerospace concept, where he worked with David Ferroni and they made some hyperspace shit. Just tell me if the dense plasma focus are the Black Project engineers, chat. I swear, if Dylan Borland comes to me again and says, oh, you accidentally figured this out. No, I fucking did not, chat. The dense plasma, it just happens to be the authors of the DIRDs that were in the legacy program, also happen to be the authors of the papers that I've been screaming at are the shit that they figured out. We might be so far over the target that it's just awkward at this point. Okay, here we go. Kona Blue. Now, Kona Blue is not disinteresting. Kona Blue is the follow-up program to the ATIP. These are real programs, real special access programs, and they were studying space-time manipulation. They were studying the same exact physics that we've been reviewing. So we know they had these programs studying this. The part that's not been revealed is that we have programs that we're building it. And if you're going to go build this technology, who are you going to go to? Are you going to go to some random Joe on the street, be like, yo, build me some alien technology? No. You're going to go to the same people that were studying it. The same exact people.
Effective special access material transfer, correct?
Well, that was at the end of it.
Right.
That was from
following on.
Right. And was there initial effort in 2008 that was stonewalled by Clapper or other officials that were senior in the USDI? There were several attempts to divest materials to the OSAP or to BASS.
It's complicated. Actually, Senator Harry Reid, who was a majority leader at the time, majority senator, had set up the next part of funding that was supposed to go forward as part of OSAP. But because the money was for this very SAP, originally just TSSCI kind of program, the language that went into the congressional, beef up of the fund just said, well, it's for aerospace investigations and that kind of stuff. So actually what happened was that it was supposed to come down through a particular chain of command. And as it came down, the person who knew what it was really for and was going to then give it off to the OSAP program happened to be off on a trip someplace. And so somebody else in his office saw it and said, oh, it's just general aerospace stuff. Well, yeah, we do aerospace. So they snatched the money. And so then the program got chopped off for that reason. And so then the question was, okay, well, do we say, no, wait a minute, that's not what this money was for. But then you would reveal what the program was all about, which at that time was absolutely forbidden to do. So that's why suddenly the program got cut off right in the middle. So we searched around, and that's when we ended up going to.
So the question was there a blocking of alien technology that they were trying to achieve, which I think is publicly well known? And Puthoff, it's complicated. Like, it's a Facebook status out here. It's a Facebook status out here, Chad. It's complicated. We might be sleeping around. We might have some situationships going on. Not really sure. That's pretty much it. It is complicated. This guy's got to be like at the top. I can't imagine somebody hired him. If there is somebody hired him, more secret, more spooky, more spooky man, then he knows exactly who they are. That's him right there. Boom. He's about to reveal, though, actually who blocked it, which is interesting. Here we go.
DHS, and now it's known that we're going to do it at an SAP level called Kona Blue, but. That went along. We spent, well, for one thing, we
talked about it. Now we're gonna do it at an SAP level. When I tell you guys that special operators can recognize the videos, because you won't even have to necessarily recognize the surveillance, you can recognize the scene. You can recognize situations about how a special operation plays out. When somebody comes on and says, "Well, now we're gonna do this program at the special access level," you're like, you're well versed in how it plays out. This isn't your first rodeo. This is like your 50th special access program. Somebody who's just getting their first special access program is like, shit, I get to be in a special access program. Somebody this well established in the system is the person running the system. This is like the architect. This is like Sword Art Online, where the guy that leads the guild that fights against the monsters to break them out ends up being the jailer, ends up being the architect hiding it the whole time. He wants to play along with the people. He wants to be part of the disclosure and the whole puppet show that he himself is orchestrating. That's what this is.
At least, I'd say 2 years. We generated our program plans that would go from the floor to the ceiling. It was tremendous enthusiasm from their DDS&T, from their security people. I mean, that was really going to be the winning.
He just said DS&T. He just said DS&T. Directorate of Science and Technology in the CIA. What did he just say there? I need to go back a second. Okay, I got to start paying attention.
And that's when we ended up going to DHS. And now it's known that we're going to do it at an SAP level called Kona Blue.
Okay.
But that went along. We spent, well, for one thing, we spent at least, I'd say 2 years. We generated our program plans that would go from the floor to the ceiling. It was tremendous enthusiasm from their DDS&T, from their security people. I mean, that was really going to be the winning program. And of course, from our standpoint, we said, well, defending Homeland Security. Well, we should definitely be defending Homeland Security from UAP. But at the very end, I ran into some.
Sounds like that was DS&T of the Department of Homeland Security. Interesting.
Pressure against not funding it by a couple of individuals, which I don't feel like a name. And
Glenn Gaffney at the DS&T.
No, that was earlier.
Earlier.
That was.
See, chat. Even Gerb got that wrong. Even Gerb was misconfused there. Even Gerb thought that was CIA. No, that was Homeland Security. So the transfer of materials was before the Kona Blue thing. This is what's crazy. We can actually build now. And I've been watching this UFO thing for several years, even a couple of years before my research into MH370. And it's never really been clear. Okay, there was this ATIP things like 2008, but that, okay. And then this Kona Blue thing came out, but it was never clear this was like a progression of programs with the same people behind the scenes. And that's important because it bolsters this theory that these have to be the people that were literally building it, that were actually building it for the government.
Earlier on trying to get materials out of the aerospace corporation,
Lockheed Martin Space Systems.
So anyway, this was somebody else on the Kona Blue situation was a separate issue. So anyway, that got stopped, and that was the end of it. I think it's really important to find ways to move forward anyway, because, for example, our as you would know, our nuclear missile sites have been shut down. And at least in the Soviet Union, a nuclear missile site was turned on and went through the countdown, and almost, we thought it was going to start World War III, but then it got shut down. So there are these major security issues that we really can't let just kind of sit off to the side. So I'm really glad that the president has, made the issue of, well, we let's get more scientists involved, because that's what we were missing in all of our activities, of getting a lot more scientists involved, because he just had a few scientists that are in the defense community, and they're not the best scientists necessarily.
The executive summary of what Hal just said is the future can be better than the past.
A few scientists in the defense community? You had the best scientists in the world. The Department of Energy has the best scientists. If the government doesn't have the best scientists, they're killing them. That's how it works. Salvatore Pais might be an indentured servant from Romania, for all we know. Who knows, chat? History is a mystery. That's what's so crazy. This idea that, we need the information to get out. We just need more Avi Loebs. We need Neil deGrasse Tyson to look at some blurry videos of plasma orbs. That'll get it. That'll solve the mystery. And you know why they want to do that? It's not just because they're evil, but also because they know the conclusion that Avi's about to reach. They're sowing this fake narrative. They're basically stringing Avi along because they know Avi's going to say, well, I can't tell what that is. It must be aliens. It must be aliens because we can't do that. We can't fly around 360s like that with plasma. We don't know about how to do that. That's what they're going to say. They didn't go to the smartest scientists. They went to the stupidest ones. They didn't pick Avi Loeb because he's the smartest scientist. I guarantee you that wasn't even in the criteria. When they were trying to figure out who should they have be in charge of the UFO thing, the first thing they thought was, we need somebody that's been on a lot of podcasts. That was their first thought. Second thought was, he should be from an Ivy League school. That was it. That was all their thoughts. That was it. Why? Because they wanted somebody that people will trust and people will believe. That's all they care about. They don't care about is he smart, if he's going to solve anything. They want somebody actually who's stupid, who's not going to solve anything. And they found their mark. They found their mark. Here you go. Watch this.
Let's make it better.
Can I ask? So the president has set up this, which I can't be more happy with, because when I was briefed about the event that happened recently in the Western United States, the military installation, where they saw those plasmoid type things, sitting in that room with Odie and I asked the question.
Pause. Did he just say plasmoid type things? Did he just say plasmoid type things that he saw? I don't do this ever, chat, so you better pay the fuck attention. I have some information. They'll blow all these motherfuckers up. And no, I'm not going to reveal it right now. I'm going to reveal it at the most opportune moment. I'm going to pull a Candace Owens. I have some information that's going to blow all of these motherfuckers up. These lying motherfuckers pretending like they don't know about this technology. They don't know how we could do all this. Talking about, we saw some plasmoids. I don't know, this is alien technologies. And I'm not going to reveal it because I want to make them sweat. I want to make them keep lying about some bullshit about not having any idea how this works. But at the most opportune moment, the hammer of justice is going to strike down these people. You have heard it here right now on July 1st, our new Independence Day. Just kidding. No, here we go. Fucking plasmoids. You kidding me, man? Say it one more time for me. Plasmoids.
When I was briefed about the event that happened recently in the Western United States, the military installation where they saw those plasmoid type things, it's sitting in that room with Odie and I asked the question, what in the world are these things? And they said, we don't know. And I said, well, surely you have your top scientists looking into this. What do they say? They said, sir, we really don't.
Exactly.
And I said, well, that's got to change. So I'm really glad to see that has changed, that they've engaged you. Can you kind of tell us about the team you've put together?
So I had a visit.
Tell us about your team, Avi. Tell us about the Marvel team you put together. We already clowned on one of your guys who didn't know anything about wormholes, but he did a TED Talk about it. So you know he's an expert. Holy shit. Wow. Brutal, guys. Okay, I'm actually going to let Avi talk. This is the only time we're going to listen to him here.
Together.
So I had a visit to my home, as I often do. Most of the time it's, billionaires interested in the science that I'm doing and willing to support it. But this
humble brag right off the start. I had a visit to my home. Normally, billionaires are visiting my home, asking to fund me and all my shit. How are people not calling this out? Where is Professor Dave, chat? What he is derelict in his duties, debunking grifters. My dude is out here. I get so many billionaires coming in and invest in my alien rock theories that I don't even know. It was hard to distinguish when the government comes and calls me to the higher power. Chat. I don't know if we're going to make it.
This time it came from ODNI. And they asked if I'm willing to lead Science Advisory Council. And they got me at hello. Because for me, I felt just like a kid in a candy store.
Jesus. Cornball maxing right now. Cornball maxing. My goodness. They had me at hello. Let's throw a Jerry Maguire reference. Avi, we needed a shill that's not going to be able to solve the UFO thing. You were top of the list. You had me at hello. Where do I sign up? Oh, my God.
That's an opportunity of a lifetime to first serve the nation and at the very least help national security. But there is a potential bonus because I would expect Dr. John Kozlowski, the director of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, instead of releasing in the third tranche on June 12th, this report about the event that lasted 2 days in October.
Okay, that's good. We're going to move on to the next part. Now, I did see a comment. And Avi actually says either they don't know what they are and they must be aliens, or he's being played. And he's right. Those are the only two options. Either we don't know and there's secret aliens flying around. The United States government's completely incompetent and can't figure out what's flying around in our own skies for the last 80 years. Or you're being played like a little puppet and they do know what it is. And they've been lying about it because it's free energy. And they're letting a few crumbs come out. It's one of those two things for sure. Somebody said, Ashton, you're expecting disclosure to be instant. It's not what I'm expecting. Actually, quite the opposite. I have publicly stated people aren't going to start believing me for another probably 7 more years. It's been 3 years I started doing this already. 3 years. And back at the beginning, I said people aren't even going to begin to believe this for at least 10 years. Just like the Bob Lazar situation where people just ignored it. And then 20 years goes by, technology catches up, people's consciousness catch up, and they go, oh shit, was that real? Was that true? That's what will happen. But no, I'm not expecting it to be instant. What I'm expecting is the truth. I'm only expecting one thing, and that's the truth. I'm telling you here exactly what these people are hiding. They are hiding the fact that they built this shit for the United States government. Built it, disinformed on it, made sure that the public didn't know it was there. That's what I'm accusing these people of directly. And they're not telling the truth right now about it while they're claiming to be whistleblowers. Nobody in the public sphere is being told free energy is real. Nobody's being told we figured out how to manipulate space-time and make things teleport. When they start saying that, then we can start talking about how much evil shit did you do and do you deserve to be absolved of any of your sins. That's the truth nuke. Poor Avi, absolutely being played like a little puppet here. Let's get to the good people. I don't even think Gerb even asks him Avi a question. Let's see.
In the topic. So I think for the future to be better, we have to learn from these sins of our past. So first, I'd like to get Dr. Puthoff's opinion on this and then yours, Dr. Loeb, because...
Exactly. If we want to be better, we have to learn from the sins of our past. And the sins of our past are we hid physics from the world. We hid an extra dimension from the world because it's infinite energy, and we didn't want other people to have it. That is a sin. And we haven't learned from the sins of our past until we start admitting the truth.
Because myself and I'm sure many others fear that the governance board and council will be a repeat of the 1953 Robertson panel, in which the CIA predetermined that a certain committee was going to reduce public concern about the topic of UFOs and relegate everything to swamp gas or prosaic sightings. But on the subject of UFO-focused activities or programs, Dr. Puthoff, this has been something that has been, I think, purposefully misleading the topic for a long time. Could you please touch on the differences and similarities in terms of just hierarchical structure, personnel, program funding, et cetera, of the OSAP versus the ATIP?
Well, basically, OSAP was the program to actually try to get to answers, although it was at a classified level. ATIP was just kind of a follow-on semi-official program, but not really structured the way OSAP was structured. So,
was it funded?
So he's presenting this narrative like they were trying to find the truth out about the UFOs. And that they were the ones that were digging in. They were the Mulder in the X-Files, digging through the government files, trying to find the truth out about the UFOs. Which I can see them trying to spin that story. It's a good story to spin. You know how I know it's bullshit? You know how I know it's 100% bullshit? Because if that was your goal and you were unsuccessful, you would have called me up on day one when those MH370 videos were on the internet. I would have had 30 followers on social media saying the future is now, going viral, and Hal Puthoff would have been knocking on my door going, dude, where did you get those videos? How do you know what are those videos? Do you know those videos are showing my physics? Hal Puthoff, those videos would have been the biggest thing in Hal Puthoff's world if Hal Puthoff didn't know what the solution was. The reason why Hal Puthoff has avoided the MH370 videos is because they prove unequivocally he's lying. There's no other secret person that had worked on all this technology. Hal Puthoff is the one that wrote the scientific paper. Hal Puthoff is the one that wrote ground state of the hydrogen atom. Gravity is a 0-point fluctuation force. He's the one they're referencing. There's no other secret physicist that worked for the government that did all those scientific papers on 0-point energy. It's him.
Not really. I mean, ATIP was sort of I mean, you can say there are people in the Pentagon who were getting a paycheck for pursuing it, but it isn't that there was a congressional mandate to fund it. So no, ATIP was not actually funded. It was those of us who, once the original OSAP program got shut down, we nonetheless continued to collaborate on our own funds or whatever to try to go out and sell this program somewhere else, with Kona Blue being the example at DHS. So that was a period in which there was no funded program really, and we just had support from Bigelow Aerospace and other places. So that's how that went. The error in all of that.
The Bigelow Aerospace angle is also interesting. They were getting private funding from Robert Bigelow. I've been told by many people Robert Bigelow is connected to this cover-up, is building this technology, and they might have built a breakaway civilization where these guys just decided we're doing our own thing, we're taking the technology, we're making our own little civilization of it, and that's how we're going to play this out. Heck, I even respect it. That's the plan for us. We're getting this technology, screw everybody else, screw the fraudsters, screw the corrupt people, screw the low IQ people. They're screwed. You guys can just screw around on this planet. We're going to make our own little pocket universe. Peace out.
I think is really being changed by what Avi is doing. This idea of bringing it into a public situation where you have scientists that are examining data and getting access to data that's not classified. I do not see this as another shutdown panel because, well, for one thing, Avi Loeb, if he even smelled the beginnings of a shutdown activity, he would say, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
So I think this is the very best solution. I wish we'd had that kind of solution.
Avi's so smart, chat. Avi, you're so smart. He would, if he even smelled that he was being played, he would sniff it out. He's so smart. You're so smart, Avi? It's like his little dog. This is crazy. Oh my God. And this is how they play it out, right? Like you pretend like you have no idea, and then they're the big smart people figuring it all out. I have no idea what this. I just spent my whole I spent 70 years in black projects. I don't know what's going on. Why would you come to me? I don't know. I just wrote all the scientific papers about it. I can explain everything about it, but hey, I don't know. You're the one to solve it. Jesus, people are really falling for this. It's crazy.
Earlier because we were totally hamstrung by the format.
So I actually, just half an hour ago, I was asked by someone about exactly this question. And I said, there are two possibilities. Either I'm being used as a puppet, for some other purpose, or government is sincere and we are dealing with cooperation, a cooperative approach. And, I think President Trump is definitely...
Chat. Oh my God, chat. He actually said that. Oh my goodness. I'm clipping that tomorrow. Chat, is either one of two things. Either the government's telling the truth about the aliens, or Avi Loeb is being played by the government like a puppet. One of those two things is true, chat. Which one do you guys think it is? Is Avi Loeb being played like a puppet, or are they telling the truth about the aliens, chat? We have no idea about the aliens. It could be anything. We know there's secret aliens visiting, but we know nothing about them. Just enough to tell you we know they're visiting and that we can't tell you anything more and that we don't know. Yikes.
Sincere in the way that he pursues it. And I think that sentiment penetrates throughout all branches of government because I spoke to people and my sense is that we're now in a new era of cooperation.
We're cooked, chat. Deep State's won. The Deep State won, chat. If this is what they're peddling to the public, the Deep State won. This is not Trump doing this. I almost guarantee Trump has had no say in this. This is the Deep State picking their people to be part of their UAP Learning Council that's never getting anything done. I mean, if you actually think these people are going to get you anything, you're out of your mind. What do you think they're actually going to produce? The government's going to release another batch of UFO files, and now we're going to have another line of gatekeepers, and before the government releases the videos, these people are going to tell us what to believe about every video. They're going to go, this one's balloons. This one's Chinese lanterns and rocket parachuters. That's what these people are going to do. And they're going to pretend like they're intellectuals. It's going to be the biggest clown show ever. You might as well bookmark this. This is guaranteed to age like wine. The gatekeepers. This is the gatekeepers chat. Ooh.
So instead of building distrust and saying the other side is trying to hide things, I have some small achievement.
Dr. Puthoff, so help me understand the difference between OSAP and what people describe as the legacy program, because it seems like they aren't necessarily the same thing.
They're not the same thing. That's true.
And if there is a legacy program, who do we talk to? What steps do we go to get that information? Because it seems like right now it feels like we're rediscovering historical records that have been forgotten or lost.
Right.
See, this is why I like Congressman Burlison, chat. He's just like me. He's just a normal dude that fell into this. And he's like, hey, how do we figure this out? Because you guys are obviously lying. So you guys are obviously lying and figured this out. And we just need to get the records. We don't really need to go reinvent the wheel. We don't need to go get some more data. We need upgraded telescopes. Upgrade my Avi Loeb and brandless telescope, chat. Only $1 billion for all the billionaires that visit me. I'm going to upgrade my Avi Loeb brand telescope, and we're going to figure out what the aliens are. Jesus. We might be an idiocracy.
I would say the best opportunity you might have would be go to somebody like Jay Stratton, who was in charge of the UAP task force for like 16 years.
Are you kidding me right now? Do you just say Jay Stratton? $16 years. You're going to go to Jay Stratton. Salvatore Pais, the U.S. Navy engineer, told me to my face, to this face right here, that this man right here directed Jay Stratton to go and shut down his work. How is that not making the rounds? That's not me inventing a story. That's Salvatore Pais saying it to my face. Said Jay Stratton rolled up, wanted to know about his high-energy electromagnetic field generator or whatever his patents and his technology. Said he was sent there by Hal Puthoff. Does that sound like a guy who doesn't know what's going on? He's sending CIA spooks to go question Navy engineers? That's the guy that I got no idea about this. It could be anything. Could be Andromedans, could be Zeta Reticulans, could be future humans. I don't know how the Force works. What just because my skin's green and I'm short, you assume that I'm a Yoda? Are you assuming my racial identity as Yoda? Jesus, this guy.
Years, and he was dealing with all the various elements, and then he ran into the quote gatekeepers for the legacy program, and so
he ran. Chat. They ran into the gatekeepers. They ran into them like you run into your coworker at the water cooler. they ran into the gatekeepers, chat, like they ran into them while they were barbecuing with them and their wives, where they hang out every weekend. They ran into the gatekeepers accidentally. Jesus.
So the OSAP program was started by Senator Harry Reid and a couple of other senators at the time.
Kind of look from the outside into the legacy program, but then when you got
to look outside into the phenomena. So at the beginning, I don't think they recognized that there was a legacy program. And it was only that in the process of carrying out the requirements of the OSAP program, began to realize, oh my God, there's more behind the scenes that we didn't even know about when we set up this program. And that's why I was just talking to Jay Stratton, part of the UAP task force, because he was the one that began to collect data from here, there, and everywhere, and then identify gatekeepers and find out that there was a legacy program. So OSAP and
I'm going to repeat it one more time for you, man. The other way that I know that Hal Puthoff is completely full of shit in the narrative that he's selling here. He's telling the truth about the details of what they did. What he's not telling the truth about is the overarching narrative about how it's going and what they figured out and what it was all about. Because this is obviously about building weapons for the government. That's what this is clearly about, right? Like, it's about building weapons for the government and lying about it. We're just branding it. The way I know they're completely full of shit is all we need is the MH370 files declassified. It's the simplest request ever. We know exactly what they're hiding. We know exactly where it is. We don't have to ask anybody. We don't need any whistleblowers because Edward Lynn leaked it for us. We just need the United States government to release the classified files about the missing airliner that they are hiding because they are responsible for the plane. And when they reveal those files, it's going to prove that the MH370 videos are real. It's going to show that we did an operation on the plane. It's going to show that we used some magical orbs to teleport it. And that's the end of all of this shit. That's the end of all this garbage about disclosure and aliens. Because then we're going to know that we have space-time manipulation technology and free energy, and none of this shit matters anymore. Crash retrievals don't matter anymore. Alien species don't matter anymore. Boom. That's how I know these people aren't serious. Because if they were serious, if he really was trying to probe the government for the secret truth that they're hiding, like he's pretending to be, that's what he's saying all these programs were trying to do. ASOP, ATIP, Kona Blue. He's going, we were trying to figure out the secrets the government had. Okay, well, I got them all right here. But you know what's crazy? You know what's real crazy, Hal Puthoff? I'll pull this back up in just a second. When I look at these videos and I dig into this physics, you know where it goes back to? It goes straight back to you, Pa. It goes straight back to you, Dad. You're the one. That's who it goes back to. All the people that figured this exact shit out goes back to Hal Puthoff. I guess I know why he's not interested in looking at the videos. I wouldn't be interested in looking at videos of, me having gay sex with somebody if I was considered to be a trad cath type of person. Obviously, that would put me to be a little bit of a hypocrite. This is basically the equivalent, the 0 point energy equivalent of that, of finding out that Hal Puthoff's cheating on his wife of 50 years with a man. Jeez. Okay. Like, Ashton, you took it too far there. Chat, I didn't take it far enough, if we're being honest with you. I told you this is the straight up Darth 4 orbs phase. There is no filter. We're making George Floyd jokes. I don't give a crap who I offend. I'm going to offend everyone. We're making algae in the pool, in the reflecting pool jokes. It's all coming out.
We did starting in 2008 was completely separate from the legacy program, and we never got access. I mean, the gatekeepers of the legacy program, even though we were, even going for Kona Blue, we're supposed to be an SAP program, we still couldn't get access to the legacy programs. The security personnel involved in the Kona Blue thing found the gatekeepers, and the gatekeepers said, we're not going to talk to you until you have an SAP. But we didn't get the SAP, so that never went anywhere. So those are really two completely separate enterprises.
But in recent years, there were
a completely different world. Like, we'll talk. You can have the secret alien technology, but you need a SAP. Like, what is this even world that Hal Puthoff lives in? He lives in some kind of world where he just sets up special access programs, and the government's just like giving him alien technologies to figure out. Someone just needs to do a whole story about this guy's life, because this is just the spookiest shit that I have ever seen. And we only get bits and pieces of it from him, but now we're starting to actually put together the whole picture of how this is played out. And it seems like Hal Puthoff's just gone from special access program to special access program to special access program. And that's just in the 2000s and later. Before that, he was working on the Marauder program. He was working on the NASA Breakthrough Physics Propulsion program. Maybe UAP, Gerb, and I need to connect, because I can connect a few more dots with Hal Puthoff. And in there is the dense plasma focus and teleportation physics study.
Much better sensors being used by the US government, right? By the military. So there should be also fresh data that was collected over the past decade, since those programs where the evidence is even clearer. So I would recommend looking at that as well.
Sir, in the Bass reports, I think this was 2009 or 2010, you can correct me on this, Dr. Puthoff, Bigelow Aerospace dedicated some money to build out actual facilities in Las Vegas to house some of the materials they expected to receive from Lockheed Martin Space Systems Company. And so that was actually a directive from the OSAP program to basically be a container. Sir, what was...
That was the plan,
yes.
but it never materialized.
But to me, the real question is, okay, if there was a program that has already done all this work and does have the truth and probably knows what these glowing orbs are that we're seeing, wouldn't it make more sense that we crack the nut of who was in the legacy program, where are those files stored, how do we open that so that we can...
Yes, Congressman Burlison. If we know where the glowing orbs, wouldn't it make more? Why are we looking for more data? This is why Congressman Burlison's probably his bullshit meter's going off here. He's going, we need more data. We need better sensors. And he's going, wait a minute. But somebody has to, Hal Puthoff is telling Congressman Burlison that he was trying to figure out who was hiding it. And now Congressman Burlison's like, don't we just have to figure out who's hiding it and reveal the data? No, stop doing that. Why? Because you're looking at Hal Puthoff, chat. Hal Puthoff of the Sith right here.
Instead of doing all this reinventive work to try to rediscover it from another angle.
I'm not sure that they actually have the answers either. That's because...
I don't know. We couldn't have figured that out. Dude, you just told us about 3 different special access programs that spanned over a 10-year period and 38 scientific papers from the best Black project engineers on the planet. And now you're trying to tell me, I'm not sure they know either. I don't know what it is. Are you kidding me? I figured it out from your defense intelligence reference documents. Sometimes I think I'm the only person in the whole world that's read those scientific papers. Sometimes I really do think that I might be the only actual live human on this planet. Read the DIRDs. Anybody that reads them, you're like, oh, this is the UFO technology. This is the UFO technology. And Hal Puthoff just said in this interview, he went to people that they confirmed those authors were legacy program Black project engineers, at least several of them. I can probably guess which ones. My goodness.
They're also hamstrung in the legacy program of not being able to get to the best scientists. So that's why what Avi Loeb is doing, I think, is the key to getting this to the next level. So
Stop with the cap. Stop with the cap, Hal Puthoff. Nobody's believing it. This is the 3rd time he has filleted Avi in the middle of this. This is why we needed the best site. We couldn't figure out the fusion technology. We needed the rock specialist. Nobody is believing this. Nobody is buying this.
I'm not convinced. I mean, the legacy program people obviously know a lot more than many of us. But.
Is it your conclusion that they did have that program did have crash material that they were working with and biologics that they were studying?
They certainly had access,
but they didn't have the right scientists to even understand what they were looking at.
That was the main problem.
And that's probably why it died somewhere. So I think it's key to involve people that can help them figure it out. It's really key.
Absolutely.
So honestly, you know what? This is one of those things. This is the Daily Show. After President Trump won, we don't want this to go away. This is never ending material for us. I don't ever have to teach science ever again. I can probably just live off of commenting on these crazy, stupid people and their dumb psyop for the rest of my days, actually, if I really wanted to. Unfortunately, I just want the truth, and I want this to be over with and this whole gay little psyop to go away forever, because I'm done with it. I've been dealing with this alien ET shit since the 90s, and we've been getting a carrot on the stick since then. It's 38 years later, 36 years later, and we're not any closer than we were before. And now the same people are telling us we needed Neil deGrasse Tyson and Avi Loeb and Bill Nye the Science Guy. If we had them, then we would have figured out the alien physics, but we didn't have them. We only had Frank Mead and David Froning and George Miley and Paul Sizz. We only had Eric Davis. We only had dudes that were literal experts in all of these technologies. But shit, yeah, we really needed the guys in the public, and that's why we put them in charge of a public-facing thing. Got it.
The program got shut down. Actually, I don't quite remember the date, but because no progress had been made. because they couldn't get materials in front of scientists who could do a good job of evaluating them. So it died more or less.
So
that's why this new approach, I think, really is a fresh approach. This is not a put up job to get another way of shoveling it all under the
and
table.
I will not.
I can't, dude. I can't even. He's telling on himself. This is he actually Hal Puthoff. He's one of the best liars I've ever seen. First of all, but he messed up right there. It's rare that I will catch Hal Puthoff in a slip up, but right there he goes. This is not another way to shovel this back under the rug. That's not what we're doing here. It's like nobody said that, bro. Nobody actually said that, but now you're saying it. Now it definitely is that, isn't it? That is what this is. This is a way to shovel this back under the rug, and the way they're gonna do it is you go, oh, Avi Loeb figured out the alien physics. Everybody, turns out Avi Loeb figured out the aliens. Those orbs were aliens the whole time. That we didn't know how that worked. Humans couldn't understand fusion and all this. That's 100% what they're doing. And you would say, Ashton, they would have to think we're so stupid. They do. They know we're so stupid. That's how crazy this is. They know we're so stupid that they're going, there's a guy on social media revealing all this, but it doesn't even matter because we're just going to send Avi Loeb, who a bunch of normie NPCs on Reddit trust, and we're going to have him just discover it. And we're going to have Hal Puthoff, the guy that really discovered it, literally just let Avi get all the credit. And everybody's just going to clap and believe it and wholly believe it's real. Meanwhile, all the scientific papers that were written by the actual experts it's already out there for anyone to just read anytime they want. It explains everything. Nobody's going to read it, though, so there's no worries, no risk. It's a TikTok age, chat. Nobody reads anything. If it's not on TikTok, it doesn't even exist.
Subject myself. If I realize that it's a setup, I will.
Yeah, so I think this is the real deal. Way to go.
Sir, when you're saying the program was shut down, are you echoing the sentiments of some of your compatriots like Eric Davis and Christopher Mellon that the program was ceased in 1989 due to lack of progress?
Yes. And of course, Eric Davis worked for me, and I was involved with Chris Mellon as part of To the Stars Academy.
So let's
science and stuff.
I mean,
did he just say that the program was shut down in 1989? So there was another program in 1989. So this legacy program goes all the way back to the 80s. I didn't even realize that we can now draw a line because I can cover the gap. Cold fusion, Marauder program happens. You've got Jack Nachampkin's force-free time harmonic plasmoids. You've got Edward Teller's dipole fusion propulsion mechanism in the 90s. That's how they figure out the toroids. That's how they figure out the high beta plasma fusion. And then you run into the NASA breakthrough physics propulsion. And then you get to where we're at now. Wow. Interesting.
I got to push back because I do vehemently disagree with that. Is that firsthand information that shutdown is coming from in 1989, secondhand, or kind of where is that idea based off of?
Based on
that the program was shut down in
based on the people who had the program and had it shut down from them.
Wow. That's a really awkward interaction right there. UAP Gerb is straight up saying the program didn't get shut down. He's saying they just said the program was shut down, but they never stopped researching UFO technology, alien technology, Tesla technology, but they never stopped. If you believe they stopped, you're crazy. But what you can see is he may not be lying because one program shuts down and the same exact people just go into a new program. That's what's happened. That's how it works. That's what Hal Puthoff isn't saying here. He kind of is saying it, though. So you realize even if they shut down one program, it means nothing. You just started up in a new name. In fact, that's probably good. You probably do want to be changing the names like that frequently. So this is why he's definitely the one hiding it. 100%. 100%. If you're looking for a guy that's hiding the free energy fusion technology, the space-time manipulation, it's the guy that had all the papers about it authored. It's the guy that's going from special access program to special access program, setting up new ones, pulling in all the same people every time. They already have security clearances. That's how it works. Wow. We're actually getting to see how this plays out. This is very revealing, very important information.
I mean, that was really shut down. They couldn't even get access to their own reports that they had written or their own materials. And when they were going out of their way to say, well, we need to share it at a lower classified level so more scientists can get involved in looking at it, they said, if you even think of doing that, we're going to come and gather all those materials back from you. You're not even going to read, and you can't even read your own reports that you wrote. So, I mean, it was a real shutdown.
I think what I don't understand about that, sir, is in the Age of Disclosure documentary, Lue Elizondo, Jay Stratton stated that in the late 2010s into the early 2020s, they stumbled upon the legacy program, which was active.
Yeah, the legacy program didn't get shut down. I'm just saying
certain program got shut down.
The attempt to make progress via...
Told you. Oh, the legacy. What the hell did you think UAP Gerb was talking about right there? Did he intentionally misrepresent the question? This is what I'm saying. He stumbled. He messed up a little bit right there. Oh, UAP Gerb was clearly talking about the legacy program. The legacy program never got shut down. So they are referring to the legacy program as whatever. That's probably the CIA Department of Energy, right? If we're thinking about who's going to be the legacy program, because they're just using that as some kind of catch-all term because they can't name the people involved, it's probably Directorate of Science and Technology of the CIA and the Department of Energy, because the Department of Energy is going to control fusion. And so they're going to control all the high energy physics, Los Alamos labs, all magnetic mirrors, everything you need for those plasma orbs is controlled by the Department of Energy. Pay attention, Congressman Burlison and UAP Gerb. And the CIA is the one that would be actively using and developing the technology. They're the ones that can write the contracts to the engineers to build it for the special access, for the unacknowledged special access program, to take that technology and build it and turn it into something that can be used on the battlefield, used in intelligence activities, which we did. We teleported an airplane.
SAP.
Oh, okay. In 1989?
No, that would not have been in 89. Well, it's apparently the program got not the legacy program,
right?
But the program involved some of the defense contractors got shut down.
So
so then later on, when we came on board, we say, well, let's start it back up again, and we're here to help. If you can declassify some of the stuff.
So a specific aspect of the legacy program was halted in 1989, not the whole legacy program, but a specific component of it.
I'm not sure I would call the component that got shut down part of the legacy program. I mean, they're really two programs.
Two programs.
Yeah, I mean, the legacy program is really a deep program going on for a long time. But nonetheless, they did try to get help and assistance from all the defense contractors. And so that effort...
Damn, UAP Gerb's actually got Hal Puthoff on the ropes here. This is the first time I've ever seen him staggered. This is the first time I've ever seen Hal Puthoff staggered. Because he has to be part of the legacy program as well. He has to be wearing two hats. He's got one foot in the door of the legacy program. He's got one foot in the door of this. It's almost like the internal investigative group, right? They're investigating themselves, and they're trying to figure out how do we reveal this, probably because they know what they're doing is criminal. I mean, it's a crime against humanity, but it might be actual just normal crimes too, like fraud, corruption, all that other stuff, guaranteed happening.
And got shut down.
Well, that's really interesting you say that, sir. In the Age of Disclosure documentary, the legacy program is outlined as the CIA Directorate of Science and Technology, Department of...
Chat, what am I hearing right now? Is there an echo, chat? Does anybody else hear an echo here? Hold on. I'm hearing an echo. That's funny.
Shut down.
Well, that's really interesting you say that, sir. In the Age of Disclosure documentary, the legacy program is outlined as the CIA Directorate of Science and Technology, Department of Energy, DID prime contractors, and the Air Force. But like you're saying right here, the legacy program is deep, it's robust, there's multiple. What other entities are culpable in the legacy program that could help Representative Burlison with his investigation?
Well, we couldn't find out. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because the gatekeepers are very sequestered. And who they're involved with is very sequestered. So you just have to go digging. That's why I say maybe if you would talk to someone like Jay Stratton, who headed up the UAP task force, and he's just a very effective guy. I mean, he got all kinds of different defense contractors and intelligence units, all 6.
I have a better idea. I have a much, much better idea. Don't go to Jay Stratton. That guy's a disinformation spook. You're not going to get information that leads to anything if you go to Jay Stratton. Here's a better idea. Go to Salvatore Pais. How about you go to the guy that's got 5 patents for literal UFO alien technology? Maybe we should talk to that guy. Maybe we should ask that guy what his inspiration is. Maybe we should look at the references on his scientific papers and see where it says Hal Puthoff, gravity is a 0-point fluctuation force. Maybe we should read that part. Because I think that guy might have some ideas on where the technology is being hidden within the government. Because I'll tell you this, there's got to be some crazy ass story about how those patents even came to be. I don't think the Navy just randomly patents alien technology on a daily basis. It feels to me like there's some kind of internal war going on, conflict between these agencies that know about this technology and they're probably using it on the battlefield versus they know the public's not being told about it. Perfect way to get it out to the public is make a patent. You can't make a patent go away. I mean, you can. You definitely can. But it's hard. So talk to Salvatore Pais. He's a cool guy. I like talking to him.
Or whatever involved in trying to move the program forward beyond what the legacy program was doing, and you know, they were not successful.
Yeah, he has a book coming out.
He has a book coming out. Yeah.
Where do NDAs come into all of this?
Okay. He has a book coming out, chat. They all have books coming out. Tim Gallaudet has a book coming out as well. Every single one. I'm the only one who doesn't have a book coming out. And I'm the one that they come and call a grifter. These are the ones they call experts. My goodness. We live in an inverted reality.
I mean, have you had to sign an NDA with your new role?
No,
not yet.
Not yet. So,
were you ever pressured in any of your UAP related work?
Avi Loeb's not signing any NDAs, chat. There's no need. He's not solving anything.
To sign an NDA at any?
Well, we signed security documents for, you know, SCI accesses and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have to sign it with corporations.
Gotcha.
No.
So when you say gatekeepers, just back up just a second, it's vague to me.
Okay, there are certain people who their job is to make sure that the deep legacy program doesn't get exposed or doesn't you know, come to light.
Unelected individuals.
There it is.
Unelected individuals, yes.
There it is. That's what I'm accusing Lue Elizondo of. That's what I'm accusing him. What Hal Puthoff just said right there. There's people whose job it is to make sure this legacy program of secret fusion technology and teleportation, to make sure that doesn't come to light. Why? Because we're using it against China whenever the fuck we want. And if it came to light, A, our adversaries are going to get it, number one. And B, people got to answer a lot of questions that they can't answer. Everyone's going to be asking the government, where did we teleport the plane? Why did we use some fusion reactors on an airplane, a civilian airliner? Right now, they come to me for those. I shouldn't be the one answering those questions. That should be the government. I'm a healthcare IT consultant. I'm not a psychopath that works on psycho-ass operations against China. That's not my area of forte. I don't write scripts and pretend to live in a fake reality.
They're security type people.
And these people today. This exists today.
Well, I hope I will not need to deal with
this. Yes, hopefully you won't have to deal with the legacy program, because what he's going to do, I think, is going to fix what the disasters of the legacy program are. That is getting open scientific investigation. And he's right from what he just said a couple of minutes ago, and that is when all of these things were occurring, I mean, some of this was decades ago, but because our sensor systems
so I'm trying to be that kid. Okay, so the point is the adults in the room will always dismiss it and say, oh, it's a rock, leave it alone. And the point is we need to dig deeper, and we don't need to guess it's extra dimensional something. We don't need to guess that. Right. First of all, let's establish the fact that it's not human made if we are dealing with a piece of technology, and then we can start asking, okay, so what is it good for? How does it operate? You know, like a kid, how do things work? But I suggest not jumping to the conclusion before we actually examine it. So just think of this process as the process of learning, you know, and in the process of learning, the best thing to do is watch the evidence or listen to whoever is on the other side, because you may not have good enough imagination.
I love it.
Was Lue Elizondo ever part of OSAP?
Well, he was kind of an advisory kind of role, but he wasn't officially part of OSAP, although when Harry Reid went forward.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted to hear right there. Lue Elizondo wasn't technically part of OSAP. Why? Why? This has been the whole point of contention over this. I know what Lue Elizondo's role was now. We've been able to piece it together now from all this little bits of information. Advisory role? Yeah, what do you think his advisory role was for the UFO people that were working on the secret alien technology? His advisory role was on how not to have the information come out to the public. He was James Clapper's guy, making sure that the special access programs weren't leaking out to the public. The exact thing that I keep saying was his role. He needs to just come out and admit what he was doing. If you're going to be a whistleblower or whatever, you can't just be the torturer and come out and be like, I'm anti-torture now, and not tell us you were actually torturing people the whole time. Oh, yeah, you spent 10 years preaching about anti-torture after you tortured 10 people to death. Yeah, good luck. Thank you. Oh, great. We love you. You're obviously a paragon of virtue. My goodness.
Forward to try to get an SAP set up. He said, well, the people I want in the SAP are these people, and he included Lue's name. So he was kind of on the edge, associated, but not directly funded by OSAP.
Did he ever ask about the legacy retrieval systems, or do you think he had any involvement with those? Or,
well, I think he dug around like we all did, but didn't get very far.
It's interesting.
By the way, I think also another thing to support why what he's doing may be successful as compared to previous cases is I'm also familiar with people in ODNI, and they are good people. They're good people actually trying to do something positive. That's a giant difference.
Yeah, that's my impression.
Yeah. I would agree with that. That's my impression too.
They're trying to do something positive. Dude, you're hiding free energy, trying to do something positive. This is like the murderer being like, you know what? Yep, I murdered your brother, but you know what? Here's a piece of cake. What the fuck? You're hiding free energy, dude. Trying to do the right thing is not telling us about aliens. That's not doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is telling us what you did to 239 people on board MH370. This isn't actually this is one of the things that's not morally ambiguous. The right thing in this situation is not morally gray. Tell the truth about the physics. The only reason why people don't believe it is because the government won't admit that 0-point energy is real. The government won't admit that they've already harnessed quantum energy. The moment they admit that, everybody's going to jump on board because everybody's an NPC. So number one, admit the truth about the physics. Number two, admit the truth about the plane. You're killing me with this.
Yeah, and the other reason that we are doing the right thing right now is that, I get hate messages from people who know the answer already. So that means we're doing the right thing because we don't know the answer and we're trying to find it.
Turned out we're probably all going to be wrong in some way.
Exactly.
Yes, you're all going to be wrong. You know who's not going to be wrong? Me. Yes, you're going to get hate and you're going to keep getting hate because, yes, we have solved it. Yes, we have figured it out. In fact, if I was in charge of this shit, we wouldn't be doing podcasts like this. The podcast we would be doing, I would just be reading passages from the material where the answers lie. Instead, you're sitting here jerking yourself off over how many billionaires visited you, haven't said a single goddamn thing about physics yet. Not one word about physics yet in this interview. Here's an idea, Avi. Here's some advice. Pick up a book. Here you go. You're a Harvard professor. Pick up a book and read. Crack it. Amazing what you can learn about secret plasma orbs when you read the engineers that built them. Crazy. 100%. Here, you want to know the truth? Because the aliens downloaded the future into my brain, I'm going to tell you the future. You know what these guys are going to figure out? They're going to figure out what we already figured out years ago. They're going to figure out these plasma technology is fusion. They're going to figure out that they're fusion drones flying around. But they're going to do the wrong thing. They're going to say that we can't build that. Humans don't know how fusion works. It's alien technologies. Maybe it's humans from the future coming back to talk to us. send us their gifts. When in reality, they did figure it out. Freaking Avi, chat. Yeah, we're talking shit about you, son.
Data, etc., out of the legacy program through now deceased Dr. Jim Ryder. What was ATIP's role in this?
Well, Lue Elizondo was, basically what was, you might say, the kind of leader of ATIP. In other words, as things were getting shut down under OSAP, we didn't want to just say, oh, okay, then we're done, And so, what activity he was doing, we just used. ATIP actually had been a nickname for OSAP along the way, but it was not itself an independent program. So anyway, what Lue did under the ATIP label was to, for example, gather up the videotapes, some of which have come out and so on, and gather data from what had been successfully carried through under the OSAP program. So he was just a collaborator, and
this is big. What I'm hearing here is those videotapes that were released, the Navy UFO videos, they got released because that was part of these guys' program to pull information out of the legacy program, we're calling it, I guess. And then Lue Elizondo seems to have coordinated the move from one special access program called ASOP, which was already being called ATIP, to the real ATIP that ended up being a real organization. And he was working at a higher level, directly under James Clapper, per his own words, making this all happen. Question you have to ask yourself, why would they be doing this at all? Why would they be investigating themselves, investigating their own science, investigating their own physics? Even on its face, the premise makes no sense.
And Chris Mellon, took on the task of trying to get this further up the chain of command to General Mattis, who's defense secretary, and they couldn't get through his gatekeepers. So anyway, that's what that was about.
So transitioning to about 2017, when yourself, Mr. Elizondo.
You think these generals don't know? You think these generals don't know? General Joseph Vodal works for Sierra Nevada Corporation. He was head of JSOC. Admiral William McRaven works for Palantir. He was head of all of Special Forces. General Joseph F. Dunford, who set up Space Force. His nephew showed him the videos, and he could tell just from the look on his face that he recognized what was going on. The generals in the military know we have this technology. This is not just CIA. Our military is using this shit.
And others embarked on To the Stars Academy, TTSA. Back in the 2010 OFSAP reports, I think this was the 10-month report, there was an idea for something called Project Forum, which was to essentially attract a pop culture figures, pop stars, superstars in California specifically, and use them as a vehicle to kind of push disclosure, push awareness, global awareness on the topic. Was this something that ATIP took, Project Forum, to use in TTSA? Was this a guideline? Was this a holdover program? Did it influence how TTSA was conducted, or how does that?
As far as I know, not. I mean, the people who went ahead and setting up To the Stars Academy, and we did involve Chris Mellon, involved Elizondo, Jim.
In reality, as Representative Burlison has been beautifully pointing out,
I will say, if you're interested in the TTSA and you're interested in Tom DeLonge, the question on Tom DeLonge is, where is he? The guy that came and set him up into the special access world is missing. General McCasland is missing, and Tom DeLonge is nowhere to be found. If Salvatore Pais went missing, you would see me every single day. The only thing I would be talking about every day on my social media is, where the fuck is Salvatore Pais? Every single day. This dude's muse disappears. He doesn't even say anything. Tom DeLonge is nowhere to be found.
Such semi-private systems like the MITRE Corporation, that receives 99% of its funding from the U.S. government, is the perfect method in which to keep programs outside of government control, but for the U.S. government to still retain possession of the program, of materials, of institutional knowledge even. So why has it, up until now, why have these not been discussed?
Well, in our case, we didn't involve ourselves with the FFRDCs, which is what these organizations are. So I just never ran across that issue. We were pursuing other options. So I don't know the answer.
Harry Truman established classified presidential executive orders, also referred to as by your colleague Dr. Eric Davis as PEDS, Presidential Emergency Action.
Okay, this is going to be good. The PEDS. This was a fun thing to learn about. The PEDS, Presidential Emergency Action Documents. This is probably where they hid this because it's above nuclear weapons. This is like nuclear winter, nuclear annihilation level emergency documents that allow them to bypass Congress and everything else. So if you're looking for a secret red button to deploy orbs, this is where it's going to be hidden for sure.
Documents that relegated custody of recovered disks to Atomic Energy Commission National Lab Control to be studied under Vannevar Bush, his soon-to-be Joint Research and Development Board, and then Research and Development Board. And I do think that is factually correct. And that kind of spiraled out.
Vannevar Bush lived in Belmont, which is just next to where I live in Lexington, Massachusetts.
Wow.
And isn't it time?
It's like he just doesn't want us to believe him. The dude just says, hey, Vannevar Bush was like supposedly secretly one of the first people to start covering up the UFO flying saucer phenomenon. And Avi Loeb's first reaction is, I just live right next to him. Even UAP Gerb's like, wow, why'd you say that aloud?
For the US to gain global leadership in both science and technology by discovering what they were talking about, these guys.
Well, I think they've already discovered this, and this is the real problem with these programs that Dr. Puthoff and myself and
Exactly. See, I like you, UAP. He's like, I think they've already discovered this. This is the bullshit. We're being told they don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. The crazy part is he's talking to the guy that already discovered it. Hal Puthoff wrote the scientific papers on how it works. Why is he pretending like he doesn't know? Like if this was me, if he was being honest, if Hal Puthoff was being honest, he would be saying aliens are probably using wormholes to travel. Why? Because space isn't empty, and I'm the guy that wrote all the papers for the government on how it works. He could even just be speculating like that, but he is not even doing that. He's out here going, we have no idea how this works. We need Avi Loeb to figure out the physics. What the fuck?
President Burlison's been trying to pursue the legacy programs. The secrecy apparatus of these programs, which were largely established as a centralized effort in 1947, have compounded and grown and spiraled so out of control. That's why, when Dr. Puthoff's talking about the program being shut down in 1989, there was so much confusion. And I think we reached a good point today where it wasn't the program that was shut down, but a specific element of the legacy program that was shut down, because this has spiraled out so much and there's serious allegations. Maybe Dr. Puthoff can comment on this as well, that specific aerospace contractors, I'll name them, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, established their own retrieval and recovery activities with self-fund through independent research and development funds. Have you come across similar allegations, Dr. Puthoff?
I've come across similar allegations, yes.
Interesting.
I had a high-level executive from Lockheed Martin visit.
Bro, the defense contractors probably have their own like military forces picking up broken arrow, nuclear weapon, plasma fusion orbs off the ground. Like we're already living in a dystopia. That's what people don't realize. We're already full on in the dystopia, and the dystopia brainwashing is so powerful that we don't even realize it.
Former high-level executive visit my home, and I asked him, is there any truth to these claims? And he said, it's not wrong.
Whoa, that's.
Would you connect him to Representative Burlison?
I have to, that was like a few years ago. I have to find the name.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Agency within the U.S. government. It could be an FFRDC, a UARC, prime contractor, subcontractor. What should it be? Number one that Representative Burlison has not discussed yet or investigated yet.
How about going back to DHS and asking to talk to the people involved in security there?
Okay.
Because then they had links and connections. If they could reveal them, then that could.
Interesting. I actually just got a rejection today from Department of Homeland Security saying they don't have any files on MH370. Just today. Brand new.
Would be useful.
Industrial security personnel, PSOs, program security officers.
DHS. Let's go to the super chats, guys. Okay, this was a long one, and I do promise that on Friday's stream we are going to review. We're going to watch Conference on Free Energy, David Froning, including the clip I already played. I know I did promise it, and I will give it you guys on Friday, on the day before our national birthday chat. Okay, let's go to, first of all, thank you guys in the Pill chat. Thank you again, Woke Societies, for that huge raid. I appreciate you, Woke Societies. Check him out, guys, if you're on Pill chat. Thank you for the cookies, P-Quest. Juan Rambo, thank you for your cookie. Moon Baby and P-Quest. Again, double cookie. Nom nom. Delicious cookie P-Quest. Thank you guys very much. Rumble chat. My Rumble chat has been getting much bigger, guys. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Double M's. I think I saw K Sierra, Laughing Cat. Ooh, new person, Adam Rumbler, a Dutch Rumbler. Thank you for hanging out and Pissed Off. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Dobby with a Throbby says, is Realta Fusion on your radar? Now, this is what I'll say. Not really. Why? Because there's only a couple kinds of fusion companies. There are fusion companies that don't have an idea, don't have a theory, don't have a reactor. There's fusion companies that have a theory and don't have a reactor. And then there's fusion companies that have a theory and have a reactor. The kind of fusion companies I'm interested in are the ones that have a theory and have a reactor. Those are the ones I'm most interested in. It's not that other people's theories can't get there. I think there's a lot of people waking up to the physics, realizing it's possible, and everybody wants to cash in. Everybody wants to get involved. But what they don't realize is the government already controls everything. So what you should really be doing is investing in the ones that are already the front runners. Tri-Alpha Energy and Helium Fusion have already been doing it for decades. They've already most likely been selected to be the winners. You want to go with somebody else, good luck. You're probably throwing your money away. That's just me being honest. There you go, Dobby with the Throbby. Jane Kelly says, Ashton, I'm your biggest fan. Thank you very much, Jane Kelly. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for that super chat. Gonzo Bowser, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. You guys are popping off already. Kathy with a C. Lue Elizondo's word salads are only rivaled by Kamala's. He must be going to the Kamala Harris school of answering questions. Maybe he has a few wines, has a few wine coolers before he goes and starts going on these podcasts. Says nothing, rambles on for 3 or 4 minutes, doesn't ever answer the question. By the time he's done, I don't even remember what the question was anymore. Sig Saucer, from everybody in the chat, LFG, shout out to everybody in the chat. Our chats are popping off. ICCC says, spooky haunters. How crazy UFO activists duped Congress into investigating UFOs. Oh, this is Stephen Greenstreet. He actually finally unblocked me after several years because he realized that I'm calling these people out as well. I mean, obviously he doesn't believe the MH370 videos. None of those guys do. But he realizes I'm at least calling out the people that are also lying. Stephen Greenstreet, my opinion on him is he has a broken heart. Stephen Greenstreet got his heart broken. He believed everything. He got used by them, and they used him up, and then he realized he got duped. And when he realized he got duped, he just went fully against it. It's like what'll happen to Ross Coulthart or Avi Loeb when they find out they get used. They're going to immediately freak out. They're going to get red-pilled. They're going to go full 180. They're going to say, hey, this is all fake. Everything's fake. These people are all liars because they got their heart broken. Poor Steve Greenstreet. Boo-hoo. The true story is they do have super secret advanced alien technology. Does it come from aliens? I don't know and I don't care. But they do have it 100%. And they are hiding it. And that's why all these people are doing this weird shit. It's not that it's nothing. It's that they're hiding something even more incredible than aliens. Jay Beach loves ZPE. Jay Beach, thank you very much. Says, Ashton, what I wouldn't pay to see you sitting around that table with them. Formidable Forbes, we fucking shit up in there. That day will come. Yeah, it'll come one day, Chad. It may be a little while. But I would be dropping the truth nukes in terms of the science and the papers. And I would be forcing Hal Puthoff to answer a lot of tough questions about the development of that science. I still haven't seen anybody ask Hal Puthoff about NASA breakthrough physics propulsion, the Marauder program, cold fusion, Ken Shoulders. Some people have asked about Ken Shoulders, but he kind of dodges it. How about dense plasma focus charge clusters? People need to be asking him about that, especially if you want to know about plasmoids. BitRaiser says string theory is a cover story for 0-point energy and unlabored acceleration since the post-Manhattan Project world. This is a very good theory. They needed to come up with a way for people to not even be looking at 0-point energy. So we have dark matter and we have dark energy. We just made up fake things because our observations show that we're wrong. And so then we also needed a whole new theory, a unification theory, string theory. I don't even know what the hell string theory is supposed to be all about. I'm pretty sure some mathematicians just looked at some numbers and were like, let's move these numbers around. Oh, look, we came up with string theory. Does it have any basis to reality? No. No basis to reality, but boy, the math is very elegant. Sorry, man. I'm just a normal working class guy here. I don't care about your fancy numbers. I just want to know, how many dimensions do we got? Oh, there's one more dimension? Okay, I got you. I'm with you. That's all I need to know. We can pull free energy from an extra dimension. Good enough for me. You don't need to go into fancy math and words. We're good. I got it. J Beach loves ZPE. Thank you very much for that super sticker. Jay Varga says a recent remote viewer said the plane teleported to Diego Sierra and all were alive, took some engineers, and then mass unalived the others. Do you think this could be how it played out? It's certainly the story that the letter to Ashton Forbes tells that everybody else died, but somehow they got these engineers. I don't really believe it. I think they just all died. I think that the smoke on the plane, they planted some smoke device on the plane, fire to get the plane to turn around. And I think that they all died either from that smoke or because they didn't realize that the smoke in the plastics in the plane itself were super toxic. And that the smoke device actually just released all these toxic fumes and killed everybody on the plane. It would explain why like nobody's reemerged after all these years. And it's like, you take some engineers and what, now they're just slaves, so they can never come out ever again. You might as well have just killed them at that point. So that's the main reason why I don't think they're alive. But I don't know. Leslie Wisdom says, blurry four orbs greater than clear three-letter media lies. Indeed, Leslie. Thank you very much for being a follower all this time. Jaleel Robbins says, awesome stream. Thanks for covering all this information with us, Ashton, of course. And we'll be covering more science and more physics for sure. Charlie Gentry says, Hal's wicked smile tells me all I need to know. Says, how do you know? Because I said so. Hal Puthoff. Hal is evil, but the reason it's like this is because of insane compartmentalization from the government. The OG physicist died, and now the leaders have no clue. Now, this is a theory, too, that actually has some weight behind it. I keep telling people I'm open to any theory as long as it's not complete and utter bullshit. And I'm being fed complete and utter bullshit by these disclosure people. I understand and could believe the idea that we lost the technology. Why? Because that already happened with FogBank. So I can imagine that it was highly compartmentalized, and then now, like, it's just in the hands of some unelected deep state Department of Energy, CIA people, and there's no oversight because all the people that were oversighting are all dead now. I could see that. But it's time to start speaking up. If that's the case, then what are you afraid of? If there's no oversight and people have technology they shouldn't be having, you can just whistleblow on that. You can just come out and say, hey, we got secret advanced technology. Edward Teller died and nobody was left behind. And now the CIA has, just say it. Just say that. Just say that on CNN. What are we talking about? If they take you out, you become a martyr. If they take you out, we'll know it's true. I don't get these people. That's how I know they're lying. So check out the DIRDs, guys. Before we close, here's your moment of Zen. Here are the DIRDs. Here they are. This is not even all of them. This is only like 26. He said there's 38. I think several are classified. But as you can see from this list, I can name like more than half a dozen dudes right off this list that I just know by heart. Like John Kramer, Bob Baker, Robert M.L. Baker, Hal Puthoff, Paul Sizz, Friedwart Winterberg, John Kramer, Eric Davis. I mean, Robert Obusi. Hal Puthoff said these engineers, some of these were Black Project. These were legacy program people that worked on the alien technology. So, how sure am I? Am I right? I'm 100% sure we've got plasma fusion particle accelerator drones that can spin around and teleport an airplane. And that whether or not it's alien technology, don't know, don't care, but humans have it. Have a good night, MH370X. I love you. Peace out. Later.
fields where the skies are wide. Talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space. Traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight. Just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine. Spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plates, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos, our future's here.